He's a pro at answering questions today. Anything you ask, he's one man who's always been very bindas and open about it. Unlike other actors, you don't get offended by any question, do you now?
I don't.
No, honestly.
Nothing that you say or ask me could be offensive, no.
No? There's a guard.
I have a field day, go for it.
Oh, well, it's one of my lucky days. I can ask you anything. Imran, first of all, I think the movie has generated just the right amount of buzz. And also the fact it's a collaboration, with Balaji, with Vishal Bharadwaj, and there's this interesting script. Again, a lot riding on you. You know, you've graduated, if I can say, from the commercial zone to a acting actor, if I can say so.
I think I was still kind of, toying with acting in the commercial zone. But generally, what happens in commercial films, sometimes you have to defy logic, and then when you start just kind of breaking down a script or a performance, there are a lot of logical loopholes in a commercial film because you have to go by cliches to make a film commercial. But yeah, when you step out of your comfort zone and do a film with probably a Dibakar in a Shanghai, you got to get logic into everything, break everything down. In Ek Thi Daayan, there's a bit of both. We've brought the logical aspect from Mr. Vishal Bharadwaj, who's known to make very artistic cinema and great cinema, and very tasteful. And of course, massy appeal, commercial, mainstream stuff, which Ekta and me believe in. So it's a great combination. This is the reason why I did this film, because it would be a very interesting combination to have these two worlds collide. You would have a lot of debates and fights, obviously, because you probably don't look eye to eye and everything. But then eventually what comes out of it is extremely unique.
Imran, I think today, besides acting, also looking good 24/7 is one of your jobs as well. And, in Shanghai, I cannot call that character conventionally good looking. But what is your choice? Looking pretty on screen? Honestly, or would you look gruesome and ugly, and even that'll do it?
I love looking gruesome and ugly. Pretty is for the ladies. I've never been the self-proclaimed cute poster boy. I'd rather do like gritty, sweaty, dirty. And I wouldn't say Shanghai was an ugly character. He's kind of sexy in his own way, in a very in a different way. So in a punching way.
Yeah, right.
So I like gritty characters. I don't like made up characters where we kind of setting like your hair constantly to be picture perfect, airbrushed. I think that's women probably look sexier doing that, not a man.
Fair enough. I think now I can clearly ask you about you doing the difference between how Hollywood and Bollywood works, because you've done one. And I recently read as to how you mentioned about you completed the entire shooting, the entire team in 100 days, am I correct? Or like almost a lot of it was shot in 100 days.
Half of that. We finished the film in 45 days. I don't know if it really qualifies as a Hollywood film, because generally that's probably the idea you have here. It's an international film. We take it, this is how it works, we take it to festivals, we take it to people to see, and then if it gets picked up by a Hollywood studio, then probably you would call it Hollywood. But there are a lot of producers involved in this. There's a lot of European producers involved, there are producers from here. So it's a very, very interesting film. It's probably one of the most controversial films that you will see this year, or probably in the past decade. And it's a script that Danis has had for the past 7-8 years. And it's taken off, the way they work, they do a lot of pre-production. So we actually finished the film with edit in 45 days. So it's ready, it's scanned, and we just now have to either take it to Cannes Film Festival or Venice, let's see.
Imran, before I let you go, one thing I'd like to ask you, it is obviously is working on the lines of paranormal, this movie. How would you like to continue this streak with paranormal movies, first of all? And do you believe in this yourself, or is it just the role?
I don't really believe in ghosts and spirits. I'll never negate someone's belief in it. It might be some basis to that. I've never seen one. I think it makes great, make films and mystery and, supernatural films are, I think, very, very interesting on screen. That's why I work in them. And, I hope I get a good script, which I probably will be working on next year. If I had my way, I'd probably do a supernatural horror film every year.
You would.
Yes.
Well, we enjoy watching him in supernatural horror along with the romantic movies, so I'm sure that's not going to stop. Thank you so much, Imran, and all the very best. Rudrani Chotraj with camera person Namo, Zoom. Thank you.